and welcome to a little amateuristic terrain tutorial, as today I'm making a simple yet effective piece of terrain for my space game battles in the term of a space dust cloud. Now Google space dust and it comes in a lot of forms and clouds and designs in our universe, so there is no right or wrong way to go about this thing. I settled on wanting to make a spiral formed piece of the cloud so that can be treated as impassable or hazardous terrain on the tabletop, and you need next to nothing to create. So apart from paint, what did I use? An old CD, which you often find at the end of garage sales in the free boxes. Doesn't matter who is on it, but a small tip: put the shiny side downwards, the imprinted label makes paints easier. PVA glue and a paperclip, because you need to stick sand to the CD. And of course sand and a teaspoon to sprinkle the sand on the CD. My sand is pink and it's like over 25 years old because I bought a huge bag of perfumed sand back then and it's no longer perfumed. The process is, as I said, a really simple thing to make. You put down the CD flat, of course, with the label up as mentioned before, and then using the PVA I drew a spiral, flattening the thicker layered glue parts with the paperclip. Next up, I sprinkled sand with the teaspoon over the glue before tapping off any excess not stuck in the PVA. And that's it for the actual building of the piece. Leave it all to dry 24 to 48 hours and then we move on to the painting. It is space, so of course it needs to be against a black backdrop. For that, and as I don't want to use my expensive wargame paints, I use Hobbycraft acrylic paints, in my case from the Talents Amsterdam's range. And they cost about €3 for a big tube and last you for a lot of terrain pieces to undercoat. Once all that is dry, I wanted to make the spiraling dust a mixture of pinkish purples and light blues. Now this is done with hobby paints and the first layer of the tree was painted on the sandy part. After those, a heavy, and be careful not to rub the sand off, dry brush was done on the whole spiral. And it's floating around dust and laps over a bit, don't worry. It even makes it look a bit better. And a final light and heavily contrasting dry brush was then done to give a good sense of deepness to the whole spiral. So that's the spiral done, and now to work a bit on the black to prevent it from being dull and boring. This was done by adding some small patches of a very dark blue, again from Hobbycraft ranges, and then some white dots to represent the stars out of there. And all that was left was a coat of varnish, again using relatively cheap Hobbycraft satin varnish, because shine and sparkly stars are a thing, and give it a bit of a general shine, and the whole terrain piece was finished. Not counting the dry time of the glue and the varnish, this is a fun little project that can be undertaken a lazy afternoon, because you don't need super detailed focus or anything to fix it up. So, and it gives you a nice little piece of terrain for your space table. Hope you like this tutorial. In the end I'm going to make 5 different ones of them in different colors for well, at least 5 for an event that I'm planning to run somewhere next year, all about spaceships, but more on that in a future video. Thanks for watching and bye bye.